So folks, in part 1, what was Ahri doing? Every time Twisted Fate was MIA or in a position to get a gank, Ahri was in a different position. One to either help the lane Twisted Fate was going to gank, or she was ganking somebody else. In the case of top, it was Nidalee. Now that ganking didn't work, but she still took control of the ganking situation. She had Twisted Fate go up there instead of bottom, which needed more help for bot lane than top lane. So when you gank a lane, you are doing two things. If you're mid lane, you are taking control of the lane and making your mid lane respond. And two, you're ganking and trying to get kills. That's good. Now, the mid lane response thing sounds kind of weird, but when you're in a different lane, doing something, getting kills, trying to win the game, their mid lane has to respond. And if they don't, you're just going to win, eventually. But like, let's say Twisted Fate had responded by pushing. Well, I mean, that's good and all, but getting those kills on Corki and keeping Bane down is more significant. If Twisted Fate had responded by teleporting in, well, Twisted Fate is a good hero, but he's not amazing. And if he's going in to fight Ahri, it's like he's just not as strong as Ahri. And that's what Ahri's been doing. She's just kind of been moving around. When Twisted Fate is likely to gank somewhere, she's going to be in the position he's most likely to gank. Now, when he ults, of course, he can see her and go somewhere else. But the way this game has been going, Fizz is just being trash top. So everything he does is kind of, well, who cares? If you kill Fizz some more, it's not a big deal. It's not a great advantage to your team. You're holding down somebody who's behind, so he can, I mean, it just doesn't matter. But if he's going bottom to fight the farming and super strong Corki, then yeah, that's huge. He needs to kill him. That guy needs to die. But the fact that Ahri's already there ganking, or gonna be there soon, means that going for the most important person that he needs to hold back is now a risk. And the fight is now in Ahri's hands, rather than Twisted Fate's. Now, Twisted Fate is an amazing ganker. He's one of the best gankers in the game, but Ahri had control of the ganks. It's weird, and I'll go much more in depth into it in another video where I just look at ganks and how players respond. But, right, what Ahri's been doing is just been saying, alright, you're going to be there, well, I'll be there too. And if you come in, I'm better than you because Ahri is just a stronger character than Twisted Fate in teamfights. Now, part 2 is going to be a little different. Part 2 is going to focus more on how you can kind of hold an advantage, how you can lose an advantage, just kind of general solo queue screw-uppery that happens a lot. And I am too tired to stare at the live cam right now. So, let's jump into part 2, and then I can go to bed. Let's go. So last we left off, Ahri had died. They'd lost a team fight because he engaged at a bad position. So, what's really bad about this is that Twisted Fate has a Magi's. Magi's is not an item I like, really at all, but it's going to fit Twisted Fate's playstyle. Why? Because he doesn't farm well. He's at 74 CS, that's not high. But he's been playing very aggressively. He has 7 kills. He has stacks. So, as odd as that build is, it's working for him. Now, something I love about Solence is his aggression, especially when Twisted Fate's ult is down. Twisted Fate just ulted top, it failed. The first thing he does is gank bot. He knows Twisted Fate is going to be top. He knows his team is not in risk of being counter ganked, and he just goes and puts his pressure on. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, that was his time to do it, so it's okay to take these risks. So, the problem in solo queue is people have a very, very nasty habit of trying to save teammates that are going to die. Now, the question is, can you help these teammates? Can you kill the enemy? Can you do something if they're gonna die and you try and save them? So let's look at Janna here. Okay, she's dead. She's not gonna make it out. Why does Nidalee come in? Is Nidalee gonna make it out? Maybe. She flashes. No, she got charmed. She's dead now. Why does Vayne come in? And Tryndamere is there too. So, when you go in to save an ally, make sure you can actually save them. Now, this may not seem like a huge deal, but this happens very often. One of the things people say is that this game is very dependent on who makes mistakes rather than who is a better player. That sounds the same, but like, let's say you're constantly getting every last hit, playing better than your opponent, but you get caught out once. That can be a lot bigger than getting every last hit. So right there, that was just a wave of mistakes. So if you get caught and you cannot save it, and you cannot be saved by an ally, tell them to go back. Tell them I'm dead. If an ally is caught, do not risk everything to save them. So Rylai's on Solence. I like this a lot. I like this a ton because of the enemy team. Triforce on Corki. Why do I like these two things so much? They slow. The enemy team is very mobile. Everybody except Twisted Fate can get away. And with that Rylai's, with that Triforce, they can catch people very well and keep them in range. That Twisted Fate needs to die. He still has Magi's. He's still at 9 stacks apparently. And Nidalee has Spirit Visage. That's kind of weird for me because you usually don't see it. Because you see the tankiness rather than the sustain. But it works. And right now, purple side is just kind of out farming blue side. They have 2 people with more than 100 CS. TGF Freddy's doing super well. Vayne is getting her ass kicked. Vayne versus Corki. Corki can just kind of kill Vayne, honestly. I do not like Vayne very much as a carry. I do not like Vayne much. Vayne? Okay. Anyhow, blue team's doing Baron. I mean, there's not much to say about this one. This was just purple team's mistake. They didn't keep a ward up. Blue team doesn't even have oracles, so it's not like they swept the area for wards and then did Baron afterwards. Purple side just didn't have anything up. But they're gonna get into a fight here, and this is a fight I like. This is the exact opposite. They can save that Nunu. They can do a lot of damage. The first thing Ahri does is go in, catch Janna, blow her ult. Lee Sin is now free to just kind of burn down Tryndamere and he won't be pushed out. Twisted Fate is being chased by Nunu into Corki. And there's really just not much to say. The enemy team has no mana. They have no HP because they did Baron. They're just able to clean up. Now, Solence comes really close to dying, but they're still, ahead. Now, why did that fight work? When most people fight at Baron, after the other team has gotten Baron, they lose. Now, the reason that fight worked was, A, Corki was alive. Corki was super important and does a ton of damage right now. And Vayne was dead. Fizz being dead isn't that important because he hasn't been doing that well. Doesn't have many items. So it was like a 4 versus 4, but they had a better and more important 4-up. And then with the lack of mana and lack of HP because they did Baron, they just got beat up pretty much. Also, blue side isn't actually good at team fights. Twisted Fate has a great stun, but you look at Nidalee, Tryndamere, Vayne, they don't really do a whole lot in team fights. They do a lot of damage, but they don't have any fight control. I mean, right there, Tryndamere, once he gets slowed, he's stuck. And, oops, Solence. Oops. So, Tryndamere, he's gonna get away from this and go back in and die. But, really, he just can't do anything to get away from fights. And that's just kind of the problem with blue team right now. They don't have that mobility once the enemy team gets control of a fight. Now, controlling fights is weird because it's really hard to say. It's like, it's all about your slows and your CCs and whether you can put them on the right people and keep them away from important people. Now this fight's very, very dumb from purple side. Why? They don't have Corki and they don't have Fizz. This is a 3v4. 3v5. But now 2v4. And they're going to lose a lot of ground here. But, I mean, it's not going to matter. They're just so far ahead that these kills, while they're really, really bad to have happen, aren't that significant. I mean, even Corki comes here. Corki's going to die, but he's going to get that kill at least. Where's it Fizz? Oh, Fizz. And the question is, well, was it really worth it? The answer is no, not really. I mean, Fizz might be able to clean up here. But once again, he's actually kited. It's kind of the exact opposite thing happening. And he does get Vayne. But those kills weren't worth it. They didn't have Baron, but they had an advantage. They could have pressed. They could have gotten a couple of kills and backed out. But no, they had to go in 3v5. And it was Dragon too, it just wasn't worth it. So don't get into these exchanges when you're ahead, just because you're ahead. Because that's how you lose a lead. When you fight just because you think you can win, without actually taking into consideration that it's a 5v3. Now, I like this because you think they're gonna go for Nidalee, and that's what the enemy team thinks too. It was a bit fast, but right there, the enemy team went to go meet up with Nidalee, and they got caught by a bush trap. Something neither teams have done very well is warded heavily. There is no oracles on either team. There's been very little ward control in this game. But at that point, they just won a team fight. They don't have Baron, but they can easily get it. And they're just going to push in and do a lot of damage to get Baron and win. Except the enemy team does something dumb. They get caught. Don't overchase. That can happen. And they weren't going to win anyways, most likely. But they died before the enemy team could get Baron, essentially. Well, this has been a kind of a look at how to really take advantage once you're kind of equal. What blue side did was get into these bad exchanges where they went one at a time. Purple side team fought, and they won the game. If you can stick together as a team, you can win a lot of games. Seems obvious, but a lot of people don't do it. Alright, this is Studio. Adios.